Hey Ken, how you doing? Yeah, I like the comparison there with 1984.
Yeah.
Seems like we're approaching more and more a Brave New World, which is also a novel predicting both both Brave New World and 1984. I think predicted the rise of a figure like Trump and this type of government that we seem to be heading towards. The
Right.
comparisons are
Right.
growing increasingly uncanny.
Right. But what do you think about Selter's point about the media has to be careful about its words and framing, and it was really incorrect in terms of this magic marker, whatever it was, the weather story. You
Yeah,
know, in
I
the,
mean, yeah,
I mean,
the media often compounds Trump's sins by putting their own twist and distortion on it. And that
uh,
gives Trump, in turn, an opening to counterattack. So,
right,
yeah, both sides have to be careful with the terminology, with the wording and all that. And too often, the media just goes along with whatever term somebody throws out. One of my pet peeves, which I've mentioned a number of times, is that when the Republicans first started talking about some of the basic programs, such as Social Security, as an entitlement,
right,
which it is not, because we pay for that out of every paycheck during our working careers.
right,
The Republicans started framing that as an entitlement, like it's a handout, like we're begging the government, we're
right,
depending on the government and socialism and all that baloney that they
right,
compare it to. And the Democrats, instead of saying it's not an entitlement, we're not going to use that term, they just went along with it. So, yeah, the
right.
terms are very important on both sides.
Right. But I mean, I think his term, what Seltzer says in the piece about his use of, for example, the word doubling down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really an inappropriate, it makes Trump look strong,
Yeah,
especially
it
in
makes
the
it, it
case of
makes
the
it look
war.
like he's standing up for the truth and all
But
that.
there was nothing to stand up for in the weather thing. It was just an
Right,
error. It was just.
right. Well, I mean, you could interpret that as doubling down, being stubborn, even though it's contrary to the facts. Or, yeah, it does have that psychological,
Has a positive
subconscious
connotation, right? Yeah.
meaning, connotation that,
Connotation, right. Yeah.
yeah, he's doubling down because he's right about it, and he wants
Yeah.
people to know that. Yeah, like I say, terms can be used for propaganda purposes, either wittingly or unwittingly, by
Right.
both sides.
Right. But see, I think it's changing in the sense that in this morning story about the supposed Camp David peace talks with the Afghanistan, with the Taliban and the Afghani president,
Yeah,
the media is already starting to suspect that it was probably a photo opportunity. It was probably, and his reasons for canceling it were very suspect, in the sense that he claims that it was because a soldier was killed, whereas soldiers have been killed all year. I think it's about 16 so far this year. And it was really just, he just sort of backed down, and there's some other reason. So I feel the media is already kind of being suspect to what he says. You know what I mean?
no, no. Elaborate on that. I'm not sure what you mean.
No, I'm saying that he gave a reason for canceling the Camp David talks, which
Right.
was supposed to happen last night.
Yeah.
And the media is always already looking into why that his reasoning was not sound, was
Right.
suspect. And
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think it was just a publicity stunt that he intended to pull right away when he launched it. I think he thought it was a great idea.
right,
And then reality started setting in. I don't know whether he
right.
realized it himself or his advisors told him what a bad idea it was. And then all of a
Given
sudden
9/11, right? Yeah,
he had to make up an excuse that, it wouldn't be the right time because they're still killing people, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I think it's another example of his impulsiveness.
right,
And usually his impulsiveness is correct in terms of his political instincts on what makes good copy, what's going to give a story
sure,
legs, what's
right,
going to get
right,
him headlines. Yeah, but often he goes too far and then has to back down in what he hopes are subtle ways where he won't be exposed as having said
right,
something without thinking and then how to reverse himself. And the media goes along with that too. As you say, the doubling down phrase, and of course, Fox News will put its spin on it, adding to Trump's
sure,
own
right,
spin, making
right,
it seem like it was a wise thing that he
right.
did to rethink it. So
Yeah,
it's the same old thing, Ken. You need a lot of sources of information
Sure,
in order
right.
to decide for yourself what the real story is. And more and more, we're heading towards a uniform media, or we're heading towards a split in the media where it's one extreme or the other.
Yeah,
And the truth more and more easily gets lost in all this.
yeah, yeah. All right, sir. Well, we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, Ken.
Talk to you later.
All
Okay,
right, talk to you
bye-bye.
then. Bye.